Hey everyone, and welcome to Age of Reason. So today I'm doing episode 7 of Age of Reason news, and so I'm going to talk about the news over the past 2 weeks actually. So the last week I was working on a movie trailer, so I couldn't make it, and we have 2 weeks of material. Let's jump into that. So this week for me, the biggest news was that again, NASA in this case landed another probe on Mars. For me, the space program is always kind of the pinnacle of human achievement. You can talk about things on Earth all you want, but to actually build a device that can go into space, into a vacuum, and well, even more, to go to another planet and land something there, that takes a lot of skill and know-how. The NASA InSight mission is going to do some research on seismic activity, and it's all in preparation for eventual humans on Mars. So right now they're talking about a moon plan. First we're going to go to the moon, prepare there a couple of years, I guess, and then that's going to be a platform to Mars. Well, I hope so. I hope it happens in my lifetime. Like I said, right now, especially with my health condition, I hope they hurry up, because who knows how much I have left, really. So, as usual, for especially people who are new to this, I don't talk about the main news, because you can just go to any big website and you can get your news from there if you want to. So I'm more interested in the smaller stories that don't get any coverage. And in fact today, so we opened CNN, and what do we have? We actually see 2 entire columns of text dedicated to Trump. It's like nothing else is going on. I know, of course, a lot depends on Trump and the G20 in this case, but seriously, it seems every day there is 1 or 2 columns entirely about Trump. Obsessed a little bit, CNN? This was a screenshot I took a while ago. CNN is so obsessed about Trump that in their rush to write material for the website, they actually misspelled his name in the headline. So this is the first thing that people saw when they came to the website. And this is not fake. I took that. And they, of course, corrected it, but unlucky for them, I got it before they did. I'm not going to spend any time on it, actually. If you want to get these type of news, go to CNN or MSNBC or whatever. You know, these places don't need more money. I do. I don't prepare these, by the way. People think that I might prepare it. That's not the point of this show. The point of the show is that just imagine that if you're woken up in the middle of the night and people start asking you questions, you didn't have time to prepare the answers. It's completely unnatural if you start suddenly talking about research material and stuff like that. You are not prepared. So we have to think as we go along. That's the point. This is in Hungary, I think, a museum accused of distorting the Holocaust, and this seems to be coming up more and more recently. In fact, there was another article I read recently that anti-Semitism is on the rise and never actually died. And so I'm not surprised that, you know, there are museums or just individuals that are distorting the truth because it benefits their agenda. They have a very clear agenda. We're basically jumping right back into the 1930s and just repeating the same mistakes because the average person is not very intelligent. So it's easy to brainwash these kind of people, and that's why history repeats itself more often than not. This is an article actually about the anti-Semitism thing, and it says here that 1 in 5 people of, you know, the responders said that the Jews have too much influence in the media, and the same number believe they have too much influence in politics. Well, look, first of all, it's nothing to do with race. I think the concept of race is stupid because we're all just human. It's one thing, one element. Yeah, we have different skin color, but we're still human. Whether some races are better than others, at business, for example, that is extremely questionable. I think, you can argue that the Chinese people are very good at business, for example. But if you're in a position where you think that, a Jewish person is doing good in finances and politics and you're not, well, probably the problem is you then. You're not good enough. You can't work better than they do, and then you blame them. Oh, so they're better than me, so they must be at fault. It's not my fault. People never want to blame themselves these days. No, no, no. It's always blaming someone else for your own errors. Meanwhile, a third of Europeans in the poll said they knew just little or nothing at all about the Holocaust. So this comes back to what I said in the previous episode. Some people really don't know about it. They don't learn about it. Nobody tells them about it. Because again, these people don't read much. They don't really educate themselves. It's all just stupid Facebook posts, like memes all day long and taking selfies. Basically, that's how some people live these days. So I don't expect them to know, like, actually anything. About 1 European in 20 in the countries CNN surveyed has never heard of the Holocaust. Lack of Holocaust knowledge is particularly striking among young people in France. 1 out of 5 people there between 18 and 34 said they'd never heard of it. South American soccer, so this is a match between Boca Juniors and River Plate. I don't follow Argentinian soccer, but I know these teams, of course. So they had the first match and it ended in a draw. They were planning to do the return match, and then violence erupted and fans started to throw rocks at the bus, and some players got injured. They decided to not do the match, and now they moved it to Spain, so a neutral venue. I just want to say this though, and this might offend some people, but like I care. Sports is nonsense for the most part. It's good for your personal entertainment perhaps, but once it gets into big numbers and you get those masses of, again, people who are not very intelligent, who are not very educated, who don't know really how to behave. They in fact behave as a mob, as an angry mob. That is not okay, and sports is a catalyst for these mobs. Man, if we don't have these type of stupid rivalries. I mean, really, you were born in city A and this guy was born in city B, so you have to hate each other? This is even like worse than religion in a way. Or actually, it's kind of the same. You're hating people for no real reason. You actually come from the same country in this case, and yet you commit violence. Yeah, that's... I like some sports, but I don't enjoy that mob mentality. There's this little article here. It says cyclist avoids train with no room to spare. I just want to say 2 things about that. First of all, well, you could see the train coming. I mean, the train is not like an ant or something. You can see the train coming. You don't have to cross. I don't know the situation, of course, here, but you don't have to cross if you see the train coming. The other comment I want to make here is actually, so I live in Japan, and what I notice a lot of the time is that when people are crossing the street, everybody is like consumed in this fucking thing. I hate this thing, actually. This is a poison to people. Some people use it for good, the cell phone, sure, to look for information or to listen to some interesting things on their way to work, on the way back to work perhaps, although that is doubtful. Most of this, though, is a distraction. And if you're crossing the street, you don't even notice if the red light is on or not. Because you're completely consumed by the screen here. This is a drug, okay? The cell phone is absolutely a drug. This is an addiction that people have. I've seen people on a train who every 5 or 10 seconds, so they finish doing something on the cell phone, they put it in their bag. So for example, if it's a woman, she puts it in the bag, and then 5 or 10 seconds, oh, it has to come out again because I have to check. Oh my God, my life is so important and I have to check everything. Look, your life is not important, most of all. Most likely, most people's lives are not very important, actually. There's nothing that they will achieve in life that is worthy of remembering. So then to check your phone every 5 or 10 seconds, I mean, really, it just tells me that you're obsessed with yourself. This is, again, not surprising. Uh, Germany is not much different from other countries. They had the big scandal with Volkswagen, I think, a couple of years ago, where Volkswagen was cheating the emissions or something like that. So I'm not surprised that, again, something in Germany is related to a big scandal. The question they ask here is it safe to fly the 737 MAX 8? Well, in reality, a lot of the airplanes that just come out to the market, of course, they are tested, but you're looking for a longer time sample to really test things. So some of the airplanes, for a problem to occur, maybe it's going to take 1, 2, 5 years, especially today with the computer system inside. It's all mostly automated. It's a lot of code, and sometimes there are errors in the code. In fact, there were a couple of accidents that I'm aware of, because I follow these things, that were caused by an automated system working and then the pilots not knowing how to react to it. So this happens quite a lot in today's era. So if you have a new airplane, new model rolling out, yeah, there's going to be a little higher risk attached to it than with, let's say, older planes that people know better. This is so funny that it's on CNN. Intimate photos of modern-day witches across America. So CNN believes that witches are real and that magic is real. Well, it's not really surprising when, 70% of the nation is still Christian, and when a lot of people don't understand evolution and things like that. Not surprising that CNN follows the mob again. Okay, so this one, making iPhones in the US wouldn't be cheap. Well, yes. And this is an argument that I always hear from some people, is that we need to bring back the manufacturing jobs and stuff like that. Okay, fine. You can try to do that. Good luck with globalization. You can try to do that, but you're not going to find people who are going to work for $3, $4 an hour unless America just completely eliminates the minimum wage concept, when basically everything will be allowed. Well, then that could work. It would be competitive, but it's just not going to fly in the States. It's not. So I don't believe when people say that they can bring back these jobs, because nobody... Look, Americans, okay, well, first of all, I need to specify, I guess, what I mean here by American. I mean, a white American will not do certain jobs. They will just not do. It's the same if you go to Switzerland. In Switzerland, Swiss people don't work as maids. They don't go cleaning around places. This is for Portuguese people. Why? Because they work for less money. And in America, it's more the Mexicans. They come, they work in farms and stuff like that because they, well, again, because compared to their country, it's bigger money, although not always. And they do it. But like a white American will not do certain jobs. That's what they're saying. They're saying basically give those white people these kind of jobs, but they don't want to do them. They don't. And nobody's going to pay them well. Farmers don't want to pay a lot either. This one is a bit curious. It says males may be more likely to become addicted to gaming, say researchers. I don't know why it's shocking. Do we really need research for that? I thought it's pretty obvious by this point. Most gamers that I know are male. But the odd thing was, I went to the one of the Final Fantasy art exhibitions a couple of months ago in Tokyo, and well, actually, about half the people were young ladies, young women. So that was cool. It's true that, since the beginning of time, that the game industry was mostly designed for men. I took a computing course at university. 99% of the students of that course were men. So I'm not surprised. Just I think now more women are moving into the computer IT fields, and that's good. Depends which IT fields, because a lot of them just go into the support part of it, just answering phone calls and stuff like that. But I'd like to see more women programmers and, game designers and things like that. That would be cool. It will give a different dimension. This one is a bit odd, how kids see the future, but then it says, from an end to pollution to flying unicorns, what do 5-year-olds hope the future will bring? So, okay, now we're getting our life advice from 5-year-old kids. I mean, really, BBC? Is that the level that we're sinking to? People get paid good money to write this stuff, People don't, I think, realize the amount of cash that flows in these organizations like that, or sports websites, just writing nonsense. And man, they probably earn top dollar for that. That's all for today's show. If you enjoy what I do, please subscribe and share on your networks. It will always help me. There are certain products that I sell. Please check them out as well. My book here, Beyond the Obscure. Get it in both print or ebook. There's a bunch of different merchandise, shirts, cups, etc., which are just more my Frozen Frame production stuff. Check it out, and I'll see you next week.